How secure do you feel in your job? A quickly shifting economic landscape is driving significant changes in the American workplace. And a new report released Thursday by the Pew Research Center in association with the Merkle Foundation shows opportunities increasingly lie in jobs requiring higher social or analytical skills, while physical or manual skills are fading fast in importance. Joining us to discuss is Zoe Baird, Merkle Foundation President and CEO. Zoe, thank you so much for being with us. Tell us a little bit about how the report was researched and what you find to be most surprising.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. The Pew Research Center did a representative sampling of over 5,000 Americans who are working today, people from 18 to people in their 70s, because people are working longer than they used to, so they're still working in their 70s. And we found a remarkable consensus. I've never seen polls with numbers in the 80% over and over again. So 87% of Americans said that they are going to need to get skills and new training throughout their work life. It's really remarkable. And I don't know if this has been asked before, but there's just an amazing consensus, and the same kind of consensus around the sort of skills people think they're going to need to get.
What sorts of skills do people point to as important?
So it won't surprise you that 85% of Americans think they're going to need computer skills. So,
right.
And this is present need,
right.
That today they need to get retrained to get computer skills. But 85% also said that they need to get skills in working with a diversity of colleagues. And more than 80% said that they need to keep up their skills in writing and communications, and more than 80% said that they need to have the capacity to keep their skills up at work. So we see just very high numbers of people believing the same thing about the skills they need.
Now, it seems that they are in consensus about these skills, but they don't seem to all agree that higher education is necessarily the most effective way of getting these skills. Is that right?
Well, it's interesting. People who have a college degree believe that it really helped them in their careers, but only 30% of Americans have a college diploma. So for the rest of Americans, they're mixed on their feeling about whether or not a college diploma helps you in their career. Now, the good side of that is that people don't think that that's the only route to having a good career. They think that there are lots of different ways to get the skills that they need. And one of the things I think we learned from this survey is that we really need to look hard at what access to affordable and rapid training do we have for people to get the skills that they need.
Absolutely. It was also interesting that the survey pointed out that most respondents believed it was the individual's responsibility to get this training for his or herself, correct?
Right. That's a really interesting finding. 72% of the people, again, an incredible consensus.
Yes.
72% of the people who responded to this survey believe it's their personal responsibility to get the skills they need.
Absolutely. There's another little interesting tidbit in the study, I think, considering the role that immigration is currently playing in the current election. Fewer Americans fear they are losing jobs to immigrants today than a decade ago.
Right. Over 40% of the people who responded to this survey believe that increased immigration actually is a benefit to workers, and that compares to just over 20% 10 years ago. So if you put that together with the number of people, 85% who think that it's an important skill to learn to work with a diverse workforce, I think it's a very different picture than you're hearing about in the election.
Absolutely. And there's also good news in this report, it seems, for women. Can you explain why that is? Is that because of the increase of demand in jobs that require certain social skills that women tend to gravitate towards?
Well, we don't have anything in this report that says anything about equal pay for equal work. That is a persistent issue. Mm-hmm. But we do see some beginning signs that women are doing well in getting into the jobs that require social skills and analytic skills. It's just very early days. We don't have a real tap on what the data means, but we're beginning to see that there is some possibility that some of the growth jobs in those arenas may work well for women.
Right, and many of the growth jobs are those that require higher education, sometimes multiple degrees.
Well, it's not the degrees as much as the written skills, the communication skills, the management skills, and we just need to look harder at that data.
Absolutely. Now, so what would the takeaway be for a young person who is about to enter college or considering college? What would you tell them to keep in mind?
Well, I think the really important thing that we need to do is to use this power that we have with the internet and the new tools to really create transparency around the skills that are required in the growth jobs. We have an effort at Merkle called Skillful. It's skillful.com, and you can take a look at it. Where are the jobs that are growing in information technology, advanced manufacturing, health, retail, business services, and what are the skills that they require, so that you can really hone in on what do you need to learn, and then how do you get those skills? What kind of training do you need? What kind of courses do you need? And from there, you can focus on what do you need today, and then what kind of career path do you want, and how do you build those skills over the course of a lifetime. We did this survey because we weren't sure how much people needed to know about whether you needed to get skills over the course of a lifetime. The great surprise for us that's wonderful is to find that people are already there. They've already internalized the idea that you need to train and get skills over the course of a lifetime. So that part of the
They were halfway there already.
Exactly, they're already there.
Right.
So now we just need to make the opportunities available to them to get those courses and to get those jobs.
Absolutely. Zoe Baird, thank you so much for coming to see us today.
It's a privilege. Thank you for having me.